All right, we are ready for our live stream for Farming Simulator tonight. And hey, Kyver, how's it going? Yeah, we'll be taking a look in just a minute. Let me actually just turn on this. That'll work. And hopefully, let me see. Do I remember? I was gonna show this, but I just suddenly remembered that I don't know if I have it set up for my YouTube stuff to play into the stream. So let me see if that check that real quick, because I have not seen the cinematic trailer for Farming Simulator 25 yet. I just hadn't watched it. I figured we got a stream tonight. I figured I'd watch it and react to it live on here. So let me just make sure that my YouTube, my browser, will actually play out to the streaming audio, and then we can watch it. Let's see. It should be that. Yeah, it's currently playing to something different. All right, let's change this to that and see if that works. One second, sorry. Get everything set up. All right. Okay, that looks like that's working. Okay, cool. We will switch back over and we'll watch this real quick because why not? And like I said, I have not had a chance to watch this trailer yet, so we'll get a quick little watch of this. We'll get a live reaction, and then we can jump right back into some Farm Sim 22. But let me switch over my camera. Let's put me down there. See if that works. All right, let's go. I'm a little excited. I know this came out yesterday, technically, but like I said, I knew I had the stream tonight, so I figured I'd just save it and react to it on stream. It's the same father-daughter from the current one.
All around the world, farmers know farming is an art. Like life, we know it can be hard.
I mean, it looks like we're in Asia, I guess. Yeah, okay. A water buffalo.
Sometimes it's about being at the right place at the right time.
I think I mentioned this. Was it the last stream I mentioned it? I wondered if... I'm assuming this is rice, right? I mean, what else would that be?
A wise man once said that the best lessons...
Wonder if the rain's going to play a bigger part. Weather's going to play a bigger part.
I think the same thing can be said about our art. Yeah, it can be messy, but it's always beautiful.
Some form of irrigation, maybe? Like some sort of like a way to flood your fields and stuff?
Well, it can help you see yourself and the world in all new ways.
Do we get motorcycles? Is that a thing? I mean, I know they technically exist, I think, through mods.
In the art of farming, the soil is the canvas, the seeds are the paint, and the harvest is the masterpiece.
Cool. I mean, we just, like I said, I think we just talked about it last stream, didn't we? Rice is... Yeah, rice is definitely one of the most... I mean, was it the most or one of the most used grains in the world? So...
Hey, this is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty darn good. Is it missing something?
Oh, chicken. I was like, what? Coming November 12th. Okay, that's pretty cool.
You're too cute to eat.
I know we thought...
Spinach for a change.
I know we thought that it would be coming out before end of year. I wasn't 100% sure because we hadn't seen anything about it yet, like official dates, but no, that's pretty cool. I'm happy. I'm glad. That's going to be awesome. Yeah, cool. Well, what are my thoughts? I mean, like I said, we talked about rice. I didn't know exactly how they were going to implement it. I know I talked about how a lot of times rice is in a lot of places of the world, because I looked it up last week. I remember looking it up because we were talking about it or whatever. A lot of places rice is still harvested by hand. There are obviously some places that do machinery, but it is still harvested by hand in a very large part of the world. So I wasn't 100% sure that we would be implementing it just for that reason alone. But because obviously they're not going to have us out there harvesting rice by hand in the game. That kind of defeats the point of how the game kind of flows most of the time. But no, it's going to be cool. I mean, there obviously is some rice harvesting machinery Let's see here. I'm just kind of looking it up real quick. Rice harvesting tractors. Like, what does that look like? So do you just use a regular tractor? Yeah, okay. So, I mean, I can see right here, there's some rice being harvested in Texas and things like that. And they're just using regular combines. And those are harvesting drainage, which is what I guess we saw there at the end. What do? Do you drain the water out, or does the water just evaporate out at some point? Because obviously you're not going to be running your $500,000 combine through a muddy field, I don't think. That's half, inch of water, but or half, a couple feet of water was what I meant to say. So that's gonna be interesting. We'll see how that goes. Looks like John Deere has potentially some rice harvesting equipment, things like that. So there's gonna be lots of options there. I'm assuming that was the planter there at the beginning. We saw the guy there on the little tractor with the little pieces of grass that he was putting down in the water. Cool. We'll see. Weather is mentioned to be dynamic, though they're very unclear what that entails. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, obviously weather does play a part in the current game, in the context of if it rains, you have less yield. But, I mean, you've got to think that there's other ways to make weather dynamic, right? I mean, such a thing as a drought. We don't have a drought represented in the current game. So if they were to, you have a bad harvest one year because you had a drought, I mean, that's an uncontrollable random element. I don't know how much fun that would be in a video game. I mean, it is a simulation video game. And so usually simulation video games, a little bit of unfortunate bad luck realism is accepted. But we'll see how that goes. Dirt bikes are now standard in the game. Cool. Yeah, that'll be fun to zip around. Field flooding is going to be a mechanic, and spinach is a new crop as well. Spinach, okay. Huh. I always thought spinach would be harvested similar to like lettuce. That shows how little I know about things. Which it surprised me because obviously lettuce, they just put it into a greenhouse right now. But I guess spinach harvesting is probably done maybe a little bit more. I don't know. Let's see here. Do I find anything about spinach harvesting? Okay, cool. Every single video I see about spinach harvesting is somebody sitting out there with picking it by hand out of their backyard garden. Here's a spinach harvester though. Okay, it's like a little. It's a curious looking tractor. It's not your normal looking tractor. It's definitely a specialized equipment. I mean, if you can do spinach, surely there's other types of leafy vegetables you can do like that. Rice is huge. Kind of why it took so long to get added. Yeah, I would agree. Like I said, the only reason why I would see why it took a little while to get added is, I don't know, just maybe because most of the world does not use machinery for their harvesting of rice. But I guess obviously here in the United States, we use machinery for everything. We automate everything. Hey Sanjay, how's it going? Spinach could be a greenhouse crop. That would make some sense to me, actually, if it was. But there are technically ways to harvest it by machinery, so we'll see what they do with that. But as mentioned in the trailer and confirmed in the dev post. I didn't see it in the trailer. Really? Was it just now mentioned spinach? I did not see spinach. I was apparently paying too much attention to the rice. Yeah, but no, I'm excited. I mean, November is obviously a good time. Selfishly, if I can be selfish for a moment, YouTube video views almost always pick up just naturally around Christmas time, November, December time. And so when you can couple, just a natural pickup with a brand new video game, hopefully it's a good boost for the channel. I would be looking forward to that. That'd be awesome. There's a lot of video games coming out between now and the end of the year, though. So I think Farm Sim for my particular channel will probably be the biggest one, because Farm Sim is by far my biggest viewed video. And of course, we'll be streaming it, I'm sure, still by then. We'll see how that kind of plays out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are as well. I'm just glad that they finally announced it. And, oh man, Civ 7 coming out 2025. That's another big game for me. Yeah, it's going to be a good next 12 months or so. It's what it feels like, just from a fun standpoint, but also I think the channel will have a lot of opportunity to grow, and hopefully that goes well. All right, let's get back into what we were doing. We obviously are playing continuation of our Elm Creek run. We're almost done. I think we've got maybe just a couple more streams left here, and then we will be done. So, I will remind you guys next week of this fact, but not next week, but the week after that, there will be no stream. My family will be coming into town for a week, and I just want to spend as much time as I can with them because I don't get to see them very often. And so I will be skipping a week of streaming after the week after 4th of July. So I'll still be here the week of 4th of July, which I think is July 3rd is technically next Wednesday, something like that. And so I'll still be here for that stream for that one, but I just be the week after that I will be missing a week. So should be all fine. I think I'll still have enough videos to put up. So if you still want to watch videos, you'll still probably see some of the Zelanka run. If you're hungry for some farm sim content, those videos should still go up through the week that I'm going to be out, because I think I'll get enough of a backlog going. We'll see. Yeah, Civ 7 is going to be coming out 2025 is what they said. We don't know an official date, like a month. Could be early, could be late. We don't know 100% for sure, I don't think. I would expect it to be second quarter is my guess, 2025. And for me, personally, I play World of Warcraft. Expansion for World of Warcraft comes out before end of year. So lots of stuff coming out. Frostpunk, Railroad, some Railroad games are coming out, things like that. There's all sorts of good stuff. And yeah, thank you for the good wishes. Yeah, my family lives back down in Texas, where it's not an exaggeration to say it's 110 degrees. It gets really hot down in Texas. And so they're going to be coming to visit us in Colorado for the first time since we moved here 4 years ago. So it's going to be really exciting for my parents to come see where we live. We're going to take them around, see all the mountains, see all the nature, maybe go see a waterfall, go see some animals, all sorts of cool stuff. We'll zip them around to all the cool places here in Colorado, and it's going to be a fun experience. All right, enough talking. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. And I'm talking really fast because I actually went for a hike a little bit earlier and kind of was rushing to get back in time for the stream. It was a good hike, although I have not gone for a hike in quite some time, so I actually kind of wore myself out a little bit more than I expected. It was a little harder than I expected. I need to get back into shape. That is for sure. So we're in January. Did we just sell... What do we need to sell in January usually? Is it... The cakes? No, cakes are March, right? Cakes are March. Oh, cakes are January. I was right. Did we already sell the cakes? $627,000. The best place to sell them would be the fast food restaurant. How much do we have in stock? Yeah, we must have just sold them. I don't remember how we ended the last stream, but it looks like we did sell the cakes. So cool. That is a good place to start. And then I think we're ready to fast forward then. If we already sold the cakes, we just got to check on the cows and the chickens from a food standpoint. And we should be ready to fast forward. I didn't see any new animals. Well, I mean, I can't imagine they're going to add water buffalo as a farmable animal. I could be wrong. There's obviously going to be an Asian map. That's obvious. But I didn't see any new animals other than that. So I actually don't know. I'm a little surprised that they didn't, add something to that. But truth be told, I actually don't know how much people play the animals. Do people do more of the farming, or do they do more of the animals, or a little bit of mix of both? I wonder if they have statistics on. I guess if they were going to have statistics, they'd have to be able to track your games offline, which I don't think they would do. So I'm just kind of curious how they would gauge the value of adding certain types of things versus others. The rice is a no-brainer. Like you said, they should have added that years ago. But I wonder what kind of other new things they could add. I got friends in San Antonio, Austin, Houston. They all have been sending me photos of their car dash temps and current. Yeah, it is insane. It gets so hot down there. All right. Well, if the chickens look okay, the cows look okay, I think we are ready to fast forward immediately. And next time we need to do something with the fields is not until April. Cool. Well, let's start this off with a fast forward. Yeah, it gets crazy hot down there, for sure. It is. Although, I will say this as well. In Colorado is actually one of the sunniest states in the United States. So even though it gets hotter down in Texas, we do get a lot of direct sunlight pretty much year round. In fact, I can walk outside barefoot in the, with it snow on the ground, because my concrete will still get warm enough that I can be barefoot outside the concrete, because it's actually, the sun is actually beating down on the concrete. Even though there's snow all around, the sun is very direct and you can feel it. I mean, it's not like I said, it's not hot like Texas hot, but it definitely can feel it. Plus we don't have the humidity. Oh, I do not miss the humidity. It is so humid down there, and here it's much drier, so it feels much better. All right, we definitely need to feed the cows again, so let's grab you. Actually, I need to turn up the volume a little bit. I just realized. I just realized the volume might have been a little bit quiet for the video a second ago. Hopefully not. Oh, let's unhook you. I'm excited though. Farm 725. Nice. We should definitely be able to get. I mean, we'll definitely get this live stream done, right? Will we get the next one done? 5 months? Yeah, we should get the next one done, right? I don't know that we'll start a third after the next one, unless I just really, really hate the lumbering side of things and decide to start a new one sooner. But there's a good chance this might we might have only one more live stream series between now and then. Do we need to do straw? Yeah, and then need some straw. So we'll get that going. So we'll get I guess we'll get 3 bales of straw. We'll get 2 bales of hay, and we'll get 1 bale of silage. They have also said the other animals will be added too, since there will be an initiative map. I have to assume ducks and geese. Yeah, ducks and geese. That would be an easy add for them, I would imagine. Also, obviously, there's going to be DLCs pretty quickly. I mean, that's the one good thing I love about. I mean, if you're the kind of person that doesn't like having to pay for extra content, then you don't like it. But I personally am okay with paying for a season pass. You know, it's an agreed upon early, beginning of the run, price. And I get all the DLCs and the expansion for that year. I'm a fan of the season pass personally, but I can see how some people might dislike that type of concept. But obviously, there's going to be, and that's the one good thing about Giants is that they have been really good about putting some pretty consistent DLC and obviously some good stuff in the expansions. Yeah, I've been happy so far. So I think if they keep that model up, I'll be pretty happy going forward into 25 as well. So obviously, that's going to give them more opportunity to add even more things. Meet the farmer. The dev notes say that water buffalo will be new animal plus others that haven't been announced. It also says they will have 2 types of rice, spinach, and other new crops. What are the 2 types of rice? I mean, I guess brown rice and white rice, right? Or is brown rice is like right? That's the thing, right? Brown rice isn't just a food description, is it? No, but I'm assuming, yeah, I guess those are the 2 types of rice. And how would you do water buffalo? Also, I'm going to ask a dumb question. What do you get from water buffalo that is of value? Like, is it like a beef cow type of thing, or can you also get milk? I have actually no idea what the functionality or what the usefulness of a water buffalo is. I've gone hunting water buffalo in the Hunter Call of the Wild game or whatever it is. I've done that, but I have never looked into what products you get from a water buffalo. If they have geese, ducks, and sheep and still don't give us herding dogs, I'm going to be really salty. Herding dogs would be interesting to implement, though. I get what you're saying, but herding dogs is going to be interesting. I mean, a good maybe example would be that the Hunter, I just talked about, the Hunter Call of the Wild game, when it first came out, they didn't have hunting dogs. And so they, it took a while for them to add hunting dogs to that game. And obviously I know hunting dogs are a little bit different, but you got to think there's a similar behavior, right? You got to tell your dog to do something, and then it's got to kind of react and things like that. So we'll see if they could ever add something like that. That'd be kind of cool. But I mean, to be fair, there is no concept of herding with animals anyway, right? Animals are just exist in they just exist in that. I mean, like that's. I could see if you had a single cow. But I don't think in real life you're going to have 45 cows in a pasture this small. I just feel like that's a little cruel. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I come from places where there's a lot of free roam cattle. But yeah. So herding is kind of like a concept that just haven't really, because there's nowhere for the animals to go. The concept of herding, I think, is going to be a little bit harder to implement unless they give us more free-range pastures. Which personally, I agree, dogs would be cool, but let's start with free-range pastures. If they give me free-range pastures from the get-go without having to mod them in, I would be actually pretty happy with that. And construction contracts. Really? What does a construction contract entail? Like, what would you... Like, building, like go build a silo or go build, like, a... I mean, I wonder what that would entail. Super interested to see what the water buffalo dynamic is. I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see the water buffalo, like I said. So, we'll. I'm gonna have to look up. I'm gonna have to look up later what value a water buffalo brings to the world. I mean, again, I'm assuming meat. That's every animal just about produces some form of meat usually. But what else beyond that? Scale on these livestock options are rather off. I agree. Yeah, the scale on the options, like this is the type of building you would bring the cows, you would herd the cows into to milk them, but then while they're not being milked or whatever eating, they would still have free roam of a much bigger pasture. So obviously I know there's some mods that you do add much bigger pastures, and there are mods that add kind of fenceless pastures, which I really like a lot. I do the fenceless husbandries a lot. I think I might even have them installed right now. Construction animals. Yeah, let's see. Do I have any of them? Yeah. Self-made cow shed. So I have a couple mods that give us some fenceless areas, and all these do is once you place it down, there's a designated square there that doesn't have a fence around it, and you can fence it in yourself or whatever. So yeah, I mean, just because of the behavior of the animation, the cows are limited to a squared area, on here, but you can make a fence really big, make it look bigger than it actually is, and then just accept the fact that the cows may not technically wander to the edges. So there's ways to make it look kind of cool, and we've done that before. Like I said, in my multiplayer games with a buddy of mine, we typically take a couple of those fenceless pastures, stick them together, and just make a really giant pastured area that we fence in ourselves. I will say they made the fences a lot easier to use in this version of the game as well, which is weird, right? They made fences really easy to work with in this version of the game because they can kind of link together. Like if I were to draw this fence out, right, it'll just link to itself. Can I do it without paying for it? Can I pop it down somewhere? Yeah, so we can draw it to a certain distance, and that makes putting fences down super easy. Well, why add fences if you're not going to let my animals free roam from the beginning? It feels like a wasted opportunity there. Check out the DJ Goham and Clutch simulation show called the Farm Sim Show. They spoke with Giant, and they said there's a lot more to come about the construction contracts. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they mean by construction contracts. I mean, what's the fun of a construction contract unless there's more of a dynamic way to build things, right? If a construction contract just says put a building down and it's already a pre-built model, it feels a little bit weird. So maybe there's gonna be some sort of dynamic element or something. Who knows? I think they're trying to build off the premium expansion concept they did for a campaign or main map or a component. Would really have to see them get the AI to be able to auto harvest grapes and olives final. Yeah, you probably will never see me do grapes or olives unless there was a way to auto harvest. But that's kind of my own personal like mental limitations. I don't know if mental is the right word. I have trouble focusing on the line for the grapes specifically. Olives might not be as bad, but the grapes for sure. I have trouble focusing on the line for too long, and it kind of gives me a headache. I think I've talked about that in one of my saves. And so if I'm focusing on that line, trying to make it exactly perfect, and I can't automate it, right? I can't just set it on a line and just turn on the cruise control and just kind of make small tweaks as much. It's a little bit more of a fine thing there. It just, I don't know, it gives me a headache for some reason. So that's why I don't do grapes anymore. So if they had a way to automate that, that would be cool. All right. So cows are fed. Chickens are okay. Milk is there, but we don't really need to pick that up right now. Let's get ready for March. March is going to be planting season for our sorghum. How are we doing on water? I haven't checked that in a while. We're doing okay. We can probably do some water while we're planting. It's going to take a while anyway. Cakes are doing okay. Buttering. I mean, it's all right. Do we still have all of the strawberries being sold? Yeah. They're all selling right now. Okay, cool. Well, let's fast forward and get planting because that's going to take us a while. Now that we've got 2 harvesters, planting is definitely our longest running action. One thing I think, I don't know how much fun it would be long term. It might get old very fast, right? But one thing that would be kind of cool to see is animal drawn plowing and things like that. Like really go old school. Like if I could hook up a pair of oxen or a pair of, whatever to a plow and actually get out there and just plow a field or something like that and really kind of retro it up. it might be fun for a bit. Again, I don't know if I would play that forever, but it would be an interesting concept to add that would be, realistic, right? Plenty of people have, and probably still do in some places, plow and do stuff like that with animals involved. And, having animals hauling carts around and things like that would be kind of a cool little extra feature someday. All right, let's get started on our seeding. I've seen tutorials on how to do grapes and olives with courseplay. It's obscenely complicated, doable, but not for me personally. Yeah, I mean, I have played around with courseplay. I mean, obviously courseplay is very powerful, right? Courseplay has a lot of really cool features to it. I don't tend to play with it too often these days. I do have, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, I do have the mod that allows you to have, like, automated, I guess, it's not full courseplay. It's just where you can automate the line, where they can kind of cruise control the line and stay on the line. And I think it's GPS is what it's called, the GPS system. GPS steering, something like that. So I have that, and I have used that a few times. But, yeah, courseplay is very powerful, and it would be interesting to see how that expanded. What am I looking for? Oh, I'm looking for seed. I was like, my brain shut off for a minute. Amish DLC, yes. You know what? Why not? I mean, it's a legit farming mechanism, and the thing that made me think about that is that, I feel like I've seen like lots of water buffalo being used to haul things before, so it'd be kind of interesting to see that when we're talking about the Asian map, kind of seeing animals playing a part into your actual farming. Yeah, the GPS guidance steering mod is definitely pretty cool. And realistic, right? I mean, there are plenty of, well, probably higher end farms that play a lot of money, but there's plenty of farms and farming equipment that use GPS these days to maintain, straight lines and stuff like that. So there's nothing that's pretty normal, actually. Oh wait, I thought it was March. Is it April? Did I miss it by a month? I think I looked at the wrong line. I think I looked at grapes. I think my eyeballs went down to the bottom. Okay, so it's April. That's all right. Well, we're set up for next month. No harm, no foul. Cows. Okay, I guess we need to unhook and get the cows one more time. If the cows would just stop eating, we wouldn't have to feed them so much, is all I'm saying. They eat a lot. Next time I do cows, I don't care how much it sets me in the hole debt-wise. I'm doing the feeding robot setup because I just want to see what it's like. I've never used it before. It exists in the game, but it's very expensive. And so I would love to see it someday. It might not do what I think it's going to do. I'm assuming you just put in the ingredients and it takes care of the feeding, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Survival map folks would be frothing for an option like that. Yeah, that's true. GPS guys, yeah, I hope that will be come standard. Yeah, GPS coming standard would be pretty useful, obviously. It's standard in the sense that, an extra feature that you can add to a piece of equipment in the shop, absolutely. Obviously, I don't expect it to be standard on every piece of equipment, because not every piece of equipment in real life has GPS steering. So it would have to be probably some of the expensive John Deeres and things like that. Oh, one thing I did see today, I didn't watch the trailer, like I said, because I wanted to save it for the stream, but I did look up, I saw a news article about the collector's edition for Farm Sim 25, and they have the most useless, but also really cool extra this year. Last year, I think, was it the light last year? Was last year the year that you had the light that when you turn on the light in-game, it would turn on the little strobe light or whatever, the little thingy, the yellow light, that was like a little USB device. Well, this year it's an ignition key, which is the dumbest, most worthless thing in the world, but it's also still very cool, and I kind of want it, sort of, maybe. I don't know. But, a little ignition key you sit on your desk, and when you turn it, your tractor turns on. It's whatever. It's kind of funny, but It's both useless and desirable at the same time. That being said, I don't expect me to get the collector's edition. I like Farm Sim. I don't know if I like it enough to pay extra for a collector's edition. Oh no, my silage fell in! And it's not distributing. Oh, I'll have to get it in a second. Sometimes I can pick it up and catch it here. There we go. I was gonna say, if I could fork it from the top and just tilt it sideways, it'll start distributing. Okay. Good stuff. The irony about that ignition key and how cool I think it is that I thought it was cool when my new car no longer needed an ignition key and just had push to start. And now I want an ignition key on my desk for my tractor. Like, I don't know. It's silly things. I mean, it's very cool to get that ignition key set up if you also have all the steering wheels and all that other stuff, right? Like, having that as well is actually a really cool extra add-on. All right, how are the chickens? Chickens are chickening. Probably need to empty the eggs. Other than that, they are good. Man, we're already almost to July. Goodness gracious. That means the expansion's only, or the expansion, the Farm Sim 25 is only like just over 4 months away. That is not that long to wait. It'll be here before we know it. Good news is that I will get to enjoy Farming Simulator 25 for a week before I die of a heart attack because my daughter will be turning 16 and wants to drive a week after Farm Sim 25 comes out. So at least we'll have one stream before I go. I am getting old. I'll just let her drive in Farm Sim. I'll be like, look, you want to learn how to drive? You can drive a tractor in Farm Sim. That's all you can drive. I'll get her the steering wheel and everything. Okay, so we got milk, we got slurry. I mean, I could drop it off. We can also do it next month while we're seeding. We're gonna have a lot of time to do around the farm types of jobs while we're seeding, so I think we can just hold off for a minute. March. I feel like there's something we have to sell in March. Maybe it's the cereal from the Zelonka run that I keep thinking is March. I'm like, I know there's something in March. All right, let's call it there. Let's fast forward and move along. Hey, Rug, how's it going? And hey, Bazooey and Nickelsoft, how are you doing? I didn't say hello to you. I'm sorry. I did respond to your Amish DLC response, but I did not say hello. All right, let's get the cows topped off a little bit with what's left in here. And now we can start seeding. All right, you're rolling. Let's get you... we want to mow first? Or we do other things first? All right, I guess we'll get the mowing out of the way first. I wouldn't mind seeing more greenhouse items, although obviously greenhouses are very boring, I guess is the right word. There's not a lot to greenhouses. Give them water and collect the output. But what greenhouses give you is an additional, you know, item that you can use with production facilities to make stuff, right? So they do give you some value. Well, I say that. Obviously, lettuce and tomatoes don't give you anything, but the strawberries do. And I would love to see them add more greenhouse type things that can be turned into and combined with other things for production facilities. We'll see what they do with that. Hey, look, a much larger slurry tanker. I don't want to spend $110,000 for it. My goodness, that thing is giant. Wow. Alrighty. You know what? While these guys are running, I'm gonna look up because I've been curious this whole time. What are water buffalo used for? I'm actually curious. Buffalo used for. I mean, I know they've been domesticated and used for like, you know, tilling fields and stuff like that. Obviously, they provide fertilizer through their output. Water buffalo can also be kept for milk production, so they do milk them. Okay. Apparently, their broad hooves are useful for tilling fields in ricey areas because it prevents them from sinking into the mud or the marsh. You know, that's really cool. That's actually logical and makes sense. And of course, they are used for meat. Water buffalo meat is lean, mild, and sweeter than beef. Some say it's easier to digest. It's often eaten in Italy. Really? I did not know that. So presumably we'll have them for milk and we'll have them for meat in the context of the game, which I guess effectively just makes them a cow variant. I don't know what else they'll do with them. Again, unless they allow us to use them to work the fields, they're effectively just a cow variant. Which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having extra variants of the animals that we already have, but it'd be nice to see a little extra something with them. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they do add something like monsoons and droughts to the game. That affect, you know, the yields or something like that. I mean, I don't know if it would be fun for them to wipe out an entire season's crop like they could in real life. I think that would be kind of painful to play in a video game, but I guess it's real and it's simulated. But sometimes you got to take a little bit of liberty with simulations to make them fun still. So, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Congratulations, you're playing Farm Simulator. Too bad for you. You're going to be in a drought for the next 5 years, and you can't do anything. Just fast forward, I guess. Like, I don't think that's the type of simulation people are looking for. All right, we'll get some mud up real quick. We'll start getting some water. We'll start getting some other bits and bobs rolling. Do we... I mean, the nitrogen's been okay. We still just don't have the pH because the pH on this field is broken. I mean, I could pH the parts of the field that aren't broken, I suppose, and maybe I should. I forgot to check the pH over here. pH is okay. We could probably go one more harvest without... There's a couple spots that are bad, but I think one more harvest is probably still within range to be worth it. So maybe when we pH the when we put lime down on the sorghum, we'll re-pH the grass fields at that point. So say I've never really used this one, but didn't I grab one of these for the pig run that I did recently? Perhaps something like this. I can't remember exactly what it was. They're interesting. They're very expensive. Some of those specialized vehicles. That was like $387,000. I mean, that's a lot of money to pay for something, but could be convenient, I suppose, just to swap things out. I don't know. It could also just be a hassle. I think somebody said that this one here can be used for mowing, right? You could technically attach mowers to that one. It's a very interesting looking little dump truck. So we talked about rice. What else would we like to see them to add someday? Like I said, rice was a very big obvious one to add. I don't know. Think about it a bit. All right. Keep doing what you're doing. You're almost out of fuel, but I think you'll be all right. Did I see there's another Farmers Dynasty or whatever it's called coming out soon as well? I think I saw something like that. I never played the first Farmers Dynasty, whatever it's called. I never played the first one, but it might be worth trying out. I know it's a little bit more story driven than like farming driven. Like Farming Simulator is just a pure simulator, right? You create your own story. Whereas that game is more, there is a lot of story driving the farming aspects. Might be worth giving a shot at some point. All right, how are the animals again? Okay, we need to haul some milk. We need to haul some slurry. Chickens probably, well, they're fine for another month, so we can top them up later. So let's just start with the milk and the slurry, and then we'll do some water. So we're going to be doing a lot of liquid hauling is what we're going to be doing. Moral of the story, we're hauling liquids of varying types. I would like to see them add in the concept of baby animals and see them growing, get them, seeing them grow up and get older. They did that in that Valley Spring modded map that I played a run through of. And I thought that was a pretty cool deal. So I think it would be fun to see them add that base game. Do we need to put some with the cakes? Probably. I'll top them up real quick. Yeah, it'll be good to see just more. Honestly, I like the big stuff when they add it. I mean, it's always fun to see new big features added in. But there's also something to be said for just small quality of life or just even cosmetic niceties, right? I mean, it doesn't all have to be big. Just throw in a few small ones as well. If somebody could do baby animals through a mod, surely they could. It would not be that hard to implement something like that base game and actually make it function a little bit better. I know we talked about getting to see other farmers actually work their fields to kind of add life to the map. And as cool as that would be, that is not a I would have to imagine that's not a small feature, unfortunately. So it's a very cosmetic feature that is not too easy to implement. Well, okay. We could see them driving around on their fields and kind of pretending like they're doing actions without actually affecting the field itself at the time, and it still like cycles at the end of the day or something. But if they were actually to implement where, as they're harvesting, the harvest gets cleared, that's a lot. That's a lot to add. But it would be cool. Make the map more lively. I know somebody mentioned earlier about being able to herd with dogs. I mean, to start with, let's just go full ranch mode. Let me get on a horse and go herd my cattle, you know? Let them be out in a large field somewhere and I get to go herding them with a horse. I don't know, that'd be kind of cool. Although if you're playing solo, I think you'd have to have a dog to help you herd with the horse. Otherwise you'd have to have multiplayer to herd properly, I would imagine. I don't think one man on a horse is going to be herding cattle too well. You gotta need a little support system in that context. But it still would be kind of an interesting feature add. Would also make the horses, you know, slightly more useful. Although I say horses, I guess you would only need one in that context. Alright, that's all the milk for now. Let's get the slurry. Oh no! Our poop is starting to seep through. That's kind of nasty. Still need to try out that production pack. I do think there's some features in that that I would enjoy. I mean, I've been in the middle of these other two saves, and I just didn't really want to add it mid-save. I don't know that it would be that valuable for the lumber save, though, so I might have to do it for my next YouTube save after Zalanka. I'll have to watch some of those interviews with the giant developers. See some of the other features they're talking about. What kind of production facilities would use rice? I mean, cereal is an obvious choice. Although rice cereal is typically very basic. Not a lot of other ingredients usually going in with rice cereal a lot of the time. Corn, sure. Wheat, yeah, I guess. But rice, I'm thinking Rice Chex and Rice Krispies. Like, I know there's other rice cereals, but it's like, feels like rice is less, you know, polluted with other ingredients. What else would you do with rice? I actually have no idea. I mean, I know there's a concept of rice flour. We've already got flour, though. I don't know if that really is just adding it to that production facility. I don't know if that's really that much of an add. I feel like rice is just typically just used as an ingredient to cook food. I don't know if you produce stuff with it very often. All the liquids. How many times I've driven over here? That's the first time I got stuck there. How much more do we got? A couple more trips. I wouldn't mind seeing a feature that adds a little bit more landscaping options. I mean, a simple one would just be a way to add water. Like, I want to be able to dig a pit or, you know, dig a little creek bed or something like that and add water. Just give me that. I'd be happy, probably. Dig myself a lake, a pond or something, you know? Usable water, specifically. Like, I don't want to just have a water graphic. I want it to be usable for, like, filling up my, my equipment and stuff. Which I assume, if we're going to be able to flood the fields, maybe there is going to be a concept like that. Who knows? We'll find out. Alright, I think that's the last full one. We'll come back, drop it back off, and move on to the water. Our seeding tractor, about halfway done. Now, I've mentioned this before, but I'd like to see the economy revamped a bit as well. Like, I don't know, some sort of better concept of supply and demand or something. I don't know. Like, in FS19, you would frequently get, you know, great demand at X and such, you know, such and such plot spot, right? It does happen in this version of the game, but it happens, it feels like it happens so rarely, it's never useful. I don't know if I've ever sold anything during a time of great demand in FS22. Like, ever. And so I feel like just revamping the economy a bit more, having a little bit more of a fluctuation of the market, could be fun. I don't know. Maybe you sit on some crop for an extra year because, you know, it was a bad year to sell it. You know, you maybe have to save it for another year, and the next year's like super lucrative. You know, it was worth it. Who knows? Well, that probably is a little bit less realistic, though. In real life, you're not going to be sitting on crop for a year. So I guess that wouldn't be, like, it... I'm assuming pretty much all crop is going to spoil after a period of time, right? I mean, not... I think some of the grain crops can last a little bit longer, right? If they're stored properly. I don't know for sure, but I assume there's some concept of that. But yeah, a lot of crops are going to spoil. So I guess saving it for the following year is not a good concept. I'm assuming at some point they're going to be doing more with lumber in FS25 as well. They always seem to have a DLC or something that's geared around, you know, harvesting hay and straw and stuff like that. Some sort of foraging pack. I don't know. That always seems to come out every year. Peanuts. We talked about peanuts once before. And other beans, right? I'm assuming those are all fully mechanized, right? So I'm assuming some sort of legumes or whatever would be a good extra crop to add as well. Obviously peanuts, you can make peanut butter. Done. Let's go. They gave us peanuts and peanut butter. I have to redo my feed my kids run in FS25 because we could have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Well, they'd have to give us jelly as well, I suppose. Okay, peanut butter sandwiches. I don't know. Although I guess peanut butter is not politically correct anymore, right? You're not allowed to have peanut butter jelly sandwich. Well, some schools do a straight up outlaw's the wrong word. They ban peanut butter jelly sandwiches. Thankfully, my kid's school does not. They just have to, the kids with peanut allergies just have to sit at a special table. It's actually kind of cute. My son, he has a friend who has to sit at the peanut-free table, and every once in a while, if he takes his lunch, he wants to make sure that he's taking his lunch and make sure there's no peanuts in there at all because he wants to be able to sit with his friend. It's kind of cute that he has the awareness to make the necessary. I don't want to say sacrifice. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know, something, but the necessary like allowance for being able to sit with his friend and kind of being respectful of his friend. I think it's kind of cute. I don't have a peanut well, I don't have a peanut allergy in the context of how most people have peanut allergies. I don't go into any sort of anaphylactic shock. We're almost out of fuel. Do you think we can get, let's go ahead and fill it up before I get going here. But I do have like a mild allergy to like beans and peanuts and stuff, only because I'm allergic to the sulfur content of various things. So I haven't eaten a bean, well, other than green beans. I have not eaten a bean in 30 years, which is sad because I vaguely remember enjoying beans when I was a kid. But I guess as soon as my family found out what was making me sick every time I ate beans, we stopped that quick in a hurry. But like stuff like peanuts, I'll still eat peanuts, but I have to like keep it minimal because I just kind of get a little bit upset stomach afterwards, so to speak. I don't know. So it's something weird. Eggs kind of does the same thing too, though, because eggs obviously have sulfur a bit as well. And so I eat eggs. I kind of have to. I kind of just not hungry anymore because my stomach feels a little bit weird. So thankfully, it's not quite the same allergy as what most people have with peanuts, but I kind of get it a little bit, I suppose. I like how we're making our tractor jump here. And I'm allergic to a lot of other things, so I definitely understand the concept of being allergic to things. All right, you're rolling. Let's get some more water. Another thing I'd like to see them add in FS25, which I don't think would be that hard to do, is the ability to either use or sell every building on the map, just about. I mean, maybe not the sell point or like the distribution points, but this, like this right here. Why can't I use this as a house? Or why can't I just sell this and put my own house right here if I want to start there instead of starting at the default location? Obviously, I know they kind of made it where you could sell most of the buildings in the corners. That was something that the game did not release with, and they added that later. So I know it's possible for them to do a bit more of that. But I want to be able to just buy, like, I don't know, some other field somewhere else and just be able to tweak it and sell it and tear down buildings or use buildings. Like I said, the barn that comes with this initially had a silo on it. Why can't I use that as a silo? You know, stuff like that would be cool. And I don't think that would be that hard to do. So I feel like that's a small request. Like that silo back there. Completely unusable. Why? There's no reason why that silo back there on that other farm is nothing. Here's the big question. Do I buy the game on Steam or from Giants themselves? Again, this year I bought it for FS22. I bought it off of the Giants website only because I was going to get it like 3 days earlier than the Steam release. So I didn't want to wait 3 days. Do I buy it on Steam or Giants, or do I wait for it to come out on Xbox Game Pass for free effectively because I already pay for Xbox Game Pass? I'm assuming it'll be like a day one release on Xbox Game Pass, but I don't know for sure. I know FS19, FS22, I think they were day one releases. Truth be told, I'll probably just buy it on Steam this time around. I like having all my games in one place. And until Xbox Game Pass, like Xbox Game Pass experimented a few months ago, or maybe about a year ago now, with a family pack version of the Game Pass, where like if your kids were playing the Game Pass on the Xbox, you could still play games on the PC under the same account. But apparently they did like a test release to a small market, so not everybody got access to that. And I don't know, they're talking about how they were going to re-release it at some point, but I don't know if I haven't seen anything else about it. But now, if I want to play something on the Xbox Game Pass, I have to make sure my kids aren't playing the Xbox. Hopefully something like that comes out soon. It's actually kind of funny. Most of the games that I feature on my YouTube channel have been on the Game Pass. And every single one of them I've just bought on Steam. It's like, why? Why do I keep spending money on something that I literally am already paying for? It's right there. Football Manager's on there. What else? Obviously, we talked about Farming Simulator. F1 Manager was on there. There's a few others that I've played many times over. And I'm like, really? It's like, why? I could have just played it on there. And by Xbox Game Pass, I mean on my PC. I don't play it on my Xbox itself specifically. Or is it just called Microsoft Game Pass at that point? It's not. Is it still called the Xbox Game Pass at that point? I don't know. Whatever it is, that I can still play those games on my PC as well. The Mud Runner game, Expeditions Mud Runner game. I think that was on the Game Pass. I played that for a while, but I bought that one. Stellaris, I think, is on there right now. I think I've seen that recently. I think Civilization might even be on there. Something. There's been quite a few games on that. Let's combine Car Mechanic Simulator with Farming Simulator. That way I can work on my tractors. My tractors start to break down. I can tear down the engine, rebuild them. I mean, other than farmers like the newer farmers that are probably dealing with crazy technological John Deere tractors that are very, you have to know the technology. Just about every old school farmer knows how to work on their own tractor to some degree, right? Like that's just a thing, you pull it into the shed and you start tearing it apart and you figure out how to fix it yourself. That is very common. I know my grandfather used to tear down his tractors all the time because, I mean, something's always broken on something somewhere. So you're always having to learn how to do it yourself. Like I said, maybe the John Deeres these days, you might have to get like a specialized technician to come out and fix certain things, but most of the mechanical bits I would assume are still workable from your own farm. I mean, obviously we've got a workshop over there, but it doesn't, there's no concept of actually repairing stuff. Now that might be too much to add to the game, but it would be kind of fun from a simulation standpoint. Alrighty. That is the water. All of our liquids have been delivered to their various locations. And we've only got a little bit left to go, so not bad. What else is there to do? So obviously we've got to fertilize all of this with the grass next month. And the next thing we sell again is not going to be the eggs until November. Do we got to switch back to straw at any point? I don't think so before the end of the save. I think we'll make it through the end of the save without switching back to straw. I do need to transport a bunch of manure at some point. So let's go check to see if the trailer can be emptied completely yet or not. Maybe. Alright, that helps. This game looks like it'd be fun. Okay. Yeah. I would imagine under any sort of leisurely influence, games like this could be a lot of fun. What game was it? Oh, I don't remember. There was some game. I've talked to you guys before about the fact that I watch Quill18 a lot. He's a YouTuber that it's probably the reason I do YouTube is because I watched him a lot and I enjoyed his content and I wanted to kind of do that kind of stuff. So I watched him a lot. And years ago, he hasn't done it recently, but years ago he did like a under the influence live stream, or not live stream, video recording of him playing some game. And it was the most dumb, hilarious thing in the world. It was pretty bad. I need to look it up because it was, I forget what the game was. It might have been some stupid fishing game for all I know. It was something silly, something basic where you just couldn't do basic actions because reasons. Oh, I need to go around. Otherwise we get stuck a bit. Obviously trying to keep this channel as family friendly as possible. You won't see me doing any sort of altered state gameplays of any kind. But to those that do, they are usually pretty funny. No judgment, just personal choice for me personally. I mean, the way I drive these tractors, sometimes you would assume I'm under the influence of something. So, I don't know if I need any help in that area. Hey, our seeding's done. Let's go drop off this manure, and then we're good to fast forward. Get a little bit of extra money from all this. A little bumpy. I still want to do a let's play, or at least a let's try, of the Farming Simulator Kids game, just to show it off, and just for the sake of my own kids. Only reason I haven't done it, it came out 3 months ago. The only reason I hadn't done it is because I was hoping it would go on sale on Switch at some point, because you can get it on, like, you can get it on your cell phone for like $4 or something like that. But on Switch, it's like $20, and I'm like, I don't want to play it on my cell phone. I want to play it on my Switch because I can connect my Switch straight up to my streaming PC. But I don't think it's gone on sale yet. I'll have to take a look. To be fair, I haven't looked at it in a while. But my guess is it's still $20. Alrighty, manure is dropped off. Let's get ready to fast forward. And get ready for lots of fertilizing and herbiciding and everything in the middle. A little bit low on fertilizer. Probably need to run to the store and get some more, don't we? Don't see any over there. Don't see any over there. Okay, so I want to go to the store. Let me get you to go to the store real quick with the trailer. We'll grab a couple pallets of fertilizer. That should last us to the end of the run. I wonder if they added in, when they did grapes, for example, I wonder if they had added in the ability to do wine as a production, as opposed to just grape juice and raisins. I wonder if that would have changed the rating of the game, just the presence of wine. Obviously, there's no consumption of it, but just the fact that it would exist in the game. I wonder if that changes what rating they have to put on it. I assume it probably does, even though when you think about it, it's like the production of it is like there's nothing there. Like there's no, I don't know. Kind of interesting to think about. I mean, by the same token, I guess you could say being able to like have a beer facility, you know, grow hops or something or whatever. I'm assuming those would add to they would have to adjust the rating system a bit. Do I need anything else? Let me actually. How much herbicide do we have over here? I think we're still good. Just almost 1,000 liters. I think we're still okay. All right, let's get you dropped off. We'll fast forward. We'll get fertilizing, herbiciding, all the things. On our path to $1 million. We're there. We're getting there. Still a bit of work to do, but we're getting there. I mean, I could have $1 million right now if I just sold everything we have. All right, we're done. But I want to get to $1 million just naturally, and then we'll probably still sell everything because I kind of want to see what our net worth is, so to speak. Even though it's probably not exactly accurate. You don't get full value for selling things, but still, like I kind of just want to see it. Probably not that much. Our tractors are so worn down. Our buildings aren't worth much. Our cows are probably worth more than anything on our farm right now. Oh, have I let the cakes fill up too much? No, we're still good. Okay, cows are good. I had a panic moment because I was like, I just remembered I did not check the cows before I fast forwarded, but I was pretty sure we'd taken care of them enough. Yeah, we do have enough there. But we do have to feed them again this month. Oh no, all my cows are dead. Oh. Told you I can't drive straight. I am still thinking of trying logging next series, yeah. Because I know they added a map just for it, and it's the one map that I haven't actually really played on at all in this version. And since we're about to be done with this version anyway, I'm going to try it. We'll see. It might be a very short series. We'll see how that goes, but we will give it a shot nonetheless. Who knows? Maybe I'll actually enjoy it. I genuinely don't know. I think they've added some quality of life stuff to the whole logging system that does make it possibly more enjoyable for me than it might have been in the past. Even something as simple as this, right? Go fill that up and you sell that and you get money, right? That's a pretty good addition, I think, to the logging system as a whole. Found a sub because of your Civ 6 videos, I think. Staying for chill content. Keep going, bro. Oh, thanks, Elliot. I'm glad you found me. I appreciate it. And if you like the Civ 6 content, there will be... Well, we're doing more of the live stream on Saturday for Civ 6. And then we will be doing... obviously, we'll be doing lots of Civ 7 when that comes out. Very much looking forward to Civ 7. Oh, there's a spot that we missed. How annoying. In fact, I'm hoping to get back into the whole strategy guide and first impression videos when Civ 7 comes out. I like doing it for Civ 6, but I really need to come up with a format that is sustainable, I guess is the best way to put it. Because the way I was doing it before was taking a long time to do and was not quite getting the return on views to justify the time commitment that I was putting into it. So hopefully I can... figure out I have an idea. I have a few ideas of how I can kind of do some bite-sized Civ 6 or Civ 7 like strategy and tips content that won't be too demanding on my time. So hopefully I can do that. Oh, just now you decided not to fertilize this end. I have no idea what caused him to fertilize it for a few cycles there, and I have no idea why he doesn't fertilize it now. So he's just having one of those days. Or she. I don't know. I didn't look. I don't know what it was, who it was. I know I talked about that for Farm Sim as well. I don't know if it would be worth implementing, but I would like to see some form of actual hireable workers that are paid a salary and stick around permanently. I think that would be a lot of fun personally, but I don't know how they would actually implement that in any sort of fun way. I also would like a reputation system with the contractors, the contract farmers. I know there's a mod that I was playing around with for the Barely Spring run that had a contract system or had a reputation system attached to it to some degree. I think something like that would be kind of cool, where as you build up reputation with them, maybe they pay you more, or they give you discounts on buying, like it's like in that game, give you discounts on buying the fields, things like that. It would be kind of cool. Oh, we missed a spot down there. I'm just completely blind. Oh, alrighty then. Let me get you started over here so that guy can kind of finish up over there. We don't cross paths. I do like the fact, I mean, I'm not wrong, right? You can build a roller coaster on that map. I did read that when that first came out. It's been a couple years now, so maybe I'm just made it up. But I thought I saw something like that where you can get all the wood together and build a wooden roller coaster, which would be really cool. And if you've never ridden on a wooden roller coaster, I would like to say you are both not missing anything and missing something at the same time, because it's an interesting experience. I don't know if they still have it, because honestly I haven't been there in years, but the Six Flags in San Antonio, Texas had a wooden roller coaster, and it's creepy when you see how much the wood sways as the roller coaster goes around. And you're like, in a way, your gut instinct is to feel more fear because it's swaying. But in reality, if the wood didn't have some give to it, it actually would be more dangerous because you want that flexibility a little bit in the wood for it to be able to, you know, contain the forces that are put upon it. It's just a weird experience, and it's creaky, and it's scary, but and obviously the one I was on, they don't go upside down or anything like that, but they do go pretty fast. It was creepy and fun. It was fun if I don't think about it too much. But I don't think I haven't been on that thing in 20 years. Goodness, I don't even know if it still exists. It may not be there anymore. My kids have never been to Six Flags. Oh, what have I done? I'm a terrible parent. Actually, I don't think my wife's ever been on a roller coaster. Now that was not my fault. I'm not taking the blame for that one. I think the last time I rode a roller coaster was at SeaWorld in San Antonio. So it was also in San Antonio. There was I think it was the Great White Shark or something like that. That's what it's called. And we were at SeaWorld because of some sort of I forget what it was. Some sort of event had rented out SeaWorld, effectively. So basically, we had SeaWorld all to ourselves, which basically meant that we could ride the rides without getting off. Like, there was no line because it was all ours. I say SeaWorld, maybe it was something else, but anyway. And so I learned very quickly that if you ride a roller coaster that does the loops and the upside downs and stuff like that 3 times in a row without ever actually getting off the roller coaster, you tend to black out for the 3rd run. I was completely blacked out the entire 3rd run. And so I was like, oh, I should probably get off now. This is probably not healthy. It was fun not having a line, but when you realize that the lines are there for you to kind of, I mean, that's not why they're there, but they can help get your brain unscrambled for a minute. Yeah. It was fun though. I mean, I think, honestly, I think when I went there, I think I was like 16 maybe. So my dumb 16-year-old self thought it was really cool. Who knows what kind of brain damage I did to myself though. Explains a lot, I suppose. Actually, if you want to explain my mental issues, if they exist, I don't think it's the roller coaster that did damage to those. Apparently, when I was 2 years old, I used to climb out of my crib at night and bang my mom would just find me banging my head against the brick wall in our house. That was apparently how I enjoyed having fun. Not only was I smart enough to figure out how to climb out of my own crib, I was dumb enough to use that time to smash my head into a wall over and over again. Go figure. I can only imagine my parents waking up to thud, 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 thud. Oh, David's out of his crib again. Oh boy. So yeah, that's what explains a lot. That right there. Are you doing... Oh, what am I looking for? I'm looking for that. Okay, yeah, we need to start over. We kind of need to let you get on your merry way, my friend. Otherwise, we'll run into you. Start at this end and follow behind you, I guess. Although I remember the fertilizer guy is shorter, so I gotta wait for him to do another pass. I actually just came back from Knott's Berry Farm in Buena Park. Rides were short, but I needed half an hour to get my yeah. It's, you don't think about, like I said, when you're like a kid, you're dumb and you do stupid things. But now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, no, give me a minute. I need to sit down a minute. I remember when I was a kid, it was frustrating that they'd make us walk around the line again to ride when no one was there. Okay, yeah. And it's smart. Now that I think about it, it would have been smart to make us walk around, because it's the same thing as, like, you know, spinning in circles to get yourself dizzy. Like, you don't want to do that too much. Like, you're literally going to make yourself sick. That's not a good thing. You gotta pause for a minute. Something. Our brains are kind of fragile. That's why they're contained inside a brick, or not brick, a bone bowling ball, and probably a good idea to not smash, shake them against the walls too often. Actually, you know what? And I'm not trying to be a fun ruiner or anything like that, but with all of the investigation into how severe and how dangerous, concussions in like the NFL and other types of sports are, I wonder what the lasting impacts of roller coasters would be. Like, you are in a sense, you're thinking they're relatively safe, but you are shaking yourself around and sloshing your brain around a bit. I mean, I would imagine that over some period of extensive, you know, like if you did amusement parks all the time and always rode roller coasters all the time, there's got to be something there, right? I mean, your brain is not designed to be sloshed around that much. Just got a message from my my weather app. It says wear a jacket with a hood tomorrow. Apparently it's going to be kind of cool where I'm at tomorrow. Cool. If you are somewhere that has very hot temperatures tomorrow, I am sorry. I will apparently not be dealing with that. Maybe a few IQ shape point shade off here and there. Yeah, for sure. But, you know, and I want to be careful about how I say this because I don't want to, anybody that has like brain damage, right? Serious brain damage from some incident or whatever, you know, obviously I have a lot of sympathy for them for sure, right? I don't want to minimize what brain damage can do as much because I do suffer from, you know, mental brain issues anyway, right? I have very intense migraines that do affect, they not only do they affect how I think, how I focus, they affect my memory, they affect my ability to see sometimes. I mean, if I'm having a really bad migraine episode, I can't drive that day because I just can't see. I can't see. It's not safe. So I don't want to minimize it, but I would say that, you know, to some degree, there is obviously some value in doing things that are fun and enjoyable and thrilling. And roller coasters are obviously very thrilling. And I would imagine even if you knew the risks, there's a lot of people that would still do it because, you know, you don't want to just put yourself in a bubble, right? We can't live in bubbles all the time. So we've got to be able to go out and like have fun and do things. And, you know, we got to understand the risks, but I think it's okay to accept those risks and still have an enjoyable experience. So, I don't know. I guess that's my 2 cents of whatever, for whatever it's worth. But I think understanding the risk is the big part of that. Like if I found out tomorrow that the few times that I rode a roller coaster is what caused my migraines, oh yeah, I would regret riding a roller coaster at that point because I like roller coasters, they're fun, but I don't like them enough to suffer for the rest of my life. But if I found out it was just like a, you know, a minor risk or whatever like that, then fine, maybe that's okay. So it really comes down to understanding that risk so that you can make an educated decision about whether or not it's worth it or not. You get motion sick pretty much immediately, so no more roller coasters for you? Yeah, thankfully I don't get motion sickness too much. My wife gets real bad motion sickness, which is sadly part of the reason why she has to drive everywhere we go. She rarely lets me drive just because of motion sickness and stuff. I mean, so we basically have 2 choices. I can drive and she can have, you know, nausea the entire time, or she can drive and I can fear for my life the entire time. You know, whatever. They're both negatives. You know, you got pros and cons. All right, saying that's only fun if my wife can hear it, and I don't think she's watching me, so I should probably not say too many things about my wife without her actually being here to listen to them. I was kidding, by the way, of course. My wife is a good driver. Except for that one time, but she's a good driver. Oh yeah, nausea is the worst. I give you that. That's true. Like, no, jokes aside, I react to nausea like if I have the flu or something like that. I mean, I don't get motion sickness, but I do. You know, if I get the flu or something like that, where I'm nauseous, nausea affects me at a very intense level. Like I have to hold on to something because when I get nausea, and I know some people, there's a lot of people that does this for, and there's some others that maybe it doesn't. But for me, nausea affects me in a way where I pass out. Like I've passed out a few times from nausea, just from like the flu and things like that, because it messes with my internal balance and stuff. And I think that's pretty common. So I don't know how many people get that affects. But I remember talking to it. I went to an ER one time for something else, and I got nauseous while I was in the ER, and I fell over. Like they had to get a wheelchair and wheel me around and everything. Like I was like, and so the nurse there explained it to me a little bit. Like it messes with your, I don't know, something in your head. I don't remember exactly what it was. So yeah, I'm not going to minimize nausea. I get it. It's not a fun experience by any stretch. Yeah, like I said, my wife is a really good driver, but I will maintain she is the only person in our family to have totaled a car a week after we paid it off. So I get to hold that one over her head for a long time because, playfully. You get that last bill, you pay off your car, and you're like, oh, yes, no more car payments. And then it's like, oh, you totaled it? Great. Car payments. She loved that car too. She really enjoyed it. It was her first car that she actually bought with her own money. So, I mean, I obviously felt bad for her, just in general. And I made it up to her. I actually, it was the first, actually the only time, now that I think about it. I actually went to the car dealership with my sister and bought her a car. She didn't know I was there. She didn't know what I was doing. She didn't know I was buying her car. And it was like the only time I've ever been able to come home and like, hey, I've got something outside to show her. And like, she walks outside and there's a new car sitting out there. So it was a fun, we got to take a bad experience and turn it into something kind of fun, but alrighty. Got the fertilizing done. We got the herbiciding done. We still need to take care of the cows. So let's get you set up for that. Do we need to do straw? Yep. Oh, let's go ahead and get another one. Get the 2 hay and get the silage. Of course, my daughter wants a car now that she's about to turn 16 and all that jazz. And I'm like, yeah, maybe when you're 18, I'll buy you a car. Like, maybe. We'll see. Like, I would love to be the parent that can buy my kids a car because I didn't have that growing up. My family did not have a lot of money growing up, which is, is what it is. My mom was a teacher, and they don't make a lot of money. And my dad was a a pastor. He's a pastor of a church, and they don't make a lot of money. So my parents did very important jobs, but not very lucrative jobs in monetary ways, I guess. And so, you know, I had to buy my own car and things like that when I turned. I think I bought my car when I was 19, my first car. But yeah, I'd love to get my daughter a car someday, just because it'd be kind of nice. But not at 16. I think 16 is a bit young to. Like, I'll let her drive my car while I'm with her. I don't think I'm going to be getting her own car at 16. Truth be told, I'm kind of shocked that we let kids drive at 16. It just feels young. I don't know. Oh, it's crazy. Oh, we got a little bit of straw left. That should not affect the TMR, so we'll just put it all together still. I just chainsawed a hickory tree and sold it at Carpenter. It was only... Oh, stupid heart. There's a heart covering it. How much? What, how much was that? I can't see for some reason. There's a... I don't know why YouTube does this, but on their pull-out chat window, it has like a reaction heart that covers up the bottom right-hand corner of the screen for me, and I can't get rid of it, so I can't see the very, very bottom right-hand corner of your message. But I imagine if it was a lot of money, it would be bigger, and I would be able to see it. So if it's able to hide behind the heart, it was not very much money. A classmate of mine back in high school was driving at 15. Yes, my niece... not niece, sorry. It was my cousin. My cousin was driving at 15 as well. She got a hardship license and was able to learn how to drive at 15. But I will give her, in her defense, she lived in like rural, in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas. And so the most you're going to do there is run into a cow or something. Like there's less risk of you hurting somebody else while driving around on a back dirt road or something like that. So driving around at 15 at that age, yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, my dad, when he was young, now obviously this is quite a few years ago, obviously, my dad was driving the school bus for the school, I think at 15 or something like that. Like, that's how lax we were on stuff, especially in rural Arkansas back then. I didn't get my license until 18. I'm with you on that. Yeah, I got my license, like I said, when I was, I think it was when I was 18. 18 or 19 or something like that. So, because there was just no point in getting it at 16 because I lived within walking distance of the school. I knew I wasn't going to have a car, so there just wasn't a point in me getting my license that early. But when I was 18 or 19, whatever, I will say this about it. The driver's ed that they take you through as an adult is definitely a much more... For lack of a better term, and this is a very poor choice of words, it is a crash course in driving when you take adult driver's ed. It's like day one, oh, here's a car, we're going to drive around the neighborhood. Day two, you know what, let's go ahead and just get you out on the highway. Day three, here's the interstate, welcome. And so I'm like, I've been driving for like 2 hours, and now I'm on the interstate. Like, scary much? But obviously I survived, so it worked. And it was literally like a 3 days back to back, right? It was like I think it was like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday or something like that. So it literally, there was not really any time to practice between either. So it was crazy. I remember when I bought my car, it was a few months after I got my driver's license at 19. I bought my car, and I didn't want to drive it home. I had my dad drive it home. I was like, look, once we get it home to the neighborhood, I'll drive it around, get used to it, you know, build up to some of these faster roads. But you're driving it on the interstate on the way home because I'm not getting in a wreck with my brand new car. Like, that is not happening. So yeah. All right, let's get you repaired. We might as well repair these things while we're here. Cool. Cows are fed. Chickens are, well, as fed as they're going to get because we're out of food. It's May. We harvest in August. So our next thing will be mowing in July, other than, like I said, taking care of the animals, so. Oh, I was going to pick up some cakes. I think we can wait another month or so, can't we? Yeah, we can wait another month. We'll do that next month. I remember my uncle telling me years ago that in Houston you didn't even have to drive for the test. Not sure if that's true, though. He lived in Houston. Wow, that's even scarier. I'm even more worried about my daughter driving around here, though, because she turned 16 in November, which means it will be snowy out occasionally here in Colorado. So, a little nervous about her even learning to drive in the snow. Although a friend of mine told me what he did with his kids. He has a Jeep and I have a Bronco. So he's like, just put it in 4 low. Take her to a parking lot, put it in 4 low. That way, if she slams on the gas, it's not going very fast. And she can kind of get used to it a little bit. Like, you know what? That's not a bad idea, I suppose. All right, let's pick up some cakes. I've been to Houston a few times. At 40 some odd years of age, I don't want to drive in Houston anymore. So no wonder they don't make them take a driver's test. They just give them a license because I wouldn't want to be out there driving anyway. Just here's your license. Go. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it is. Houston's crazy. It's. Ugh. I'm not a fan of big cities in general. I'll be honest. I might be okay with the big city if I just walked everywhere, but the concept of driving in big cities is just a nightmare that I do not want to deal with. Like even now, where I live now, for a couple reasons, but not the least of which is traffic. I intentionally have on my GPS avoid highways. Give me the scenic route. I will take the 20-minute longer scenic route to get wherever. You know, I don't care. I would much rather take the scenic route because I do enjoy getting to walk around or not to get to drive around and see new places, but also I just don't want to deal with traffic on the highway. It bothers me, you know. But by not taking the highways and taking the scenic routes, I have been able to find quite a few nice roads around here that get to go through the mountains and stuff like that. It's actually been kind of a rewarding experience. My phobia has been beneficial. I don't know if it's a phobia. It's more of an uncomfortableness. Dallas was even worse traffic from what I remember. I've been there a couple times. Yeah, I've been to Dallas a few times. Yep. It is. Yeah. Yeah. That's all I got to say about that one. Actually, when I lived in Austin, I just started taking the train to work because the train had to stop up by my house and it had to stop near my work within half a mile of my work. So I was able to walk to work from the train station. And so, yeah, it was just so much more convenient to just jump on the train. Not only could I take a nap early in the morning if I was really tired because, it's early in the morning, but also after work, I could just kind of get out of my head, could read a book, do whatever. Very, very convenient to do that. That being said, I do like to drive. I love driving. I just don't like driving with people around me. first time I came to Colorado, before we moved here, I had a Mustang GT, you know, one of those, was a 2019, I believe, Mustang GT. So love that thing. And we drove it to Colorado, and man, driving up through the mountains, windy mountain passes and all of that stuff in a nice little sports car. It was a lot of fun. That was a great trip. I don't have the Mustang anymore, sadly, but that was an awesome trip. So yeah, I love driving. But just give me a wide open road up in the mountains or whatever, and I'm gonna have fun with that. But I just don't want to be in traffic. Ugh. Not that anybody likes traffic, right? I show me somebody who says they like traffic, and I'm pretty sure I'm showing you a liar, because I can't imagine anybody likes traffic. But even just light traffic still bothers me a little bit, you know? I just don't want to see anybody. That's why the trip to get from Texas to Colorado is actually kind of an enjoyable trip for me, because it goes through the panhandle of Texas, the route that I take. And, you know, for miles and miles and miles and miles, for hours, you're not going to see any cars. Like, there's just nobody out there. And so, it's just a peaceful drive, you know, and it's actually kind of an enjoyable experience for me. Those types of road trips I'm okay with. All right. That's the cakes picked up. We do need to resupply them a little bit, I suppose. How are we doing on milk? Milk's getting a little bit full. We'll have to empty it out again here in a minute. We have... Oh, no. We have just barely not enough food to feed the cows. Wow. Alrighty. I guess we're feeding the cows again. I've never been on a moving train. Trains are... I mean, the train that I took in Austin, the best way to... It's probably better to describe it as a shuttle, because it's like two passenger compartments with engines attached together, and that's it. Like, it's very small. But I have been on like a few other trains over the years. I went on a lot of trains when I was in Europe. Europe, if you want to travel around Europe from country to country, trains is the way to do that. Absolutely. I don't know if they still have it, but when I went to Europe, oh, I got one too many straw. The Ural pass for traveling around was, I think it was like $400 for like 15 days or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it was very, very inexpensive in the grand scheme of things. And so I was there for almost 2 weeks, just taking a train around Europe. It was a great experience. In fact, we actually slept on the train for a lot of the nights, because what we would do is, if we wanted to, we would either find a place that was about 7 or 8 hours away from where we were starting, and we would just sleep on the train and wake up at our destination, and we've had a night's sleep, right? Or if we wanted to stay in the same place and kind of look around that same place again, we would get on the train, go about 4 hours out, get off the train, catch the next train coming right back again, sleep for another 4 hours, and, you know, we effectively got our full night's sleep by just taking 2 different trains. But yeah, it was really fun. I'm a little jealous of how easy it is to travel by train in Europe, actually. Reminds me of driving in Arizona. Kind of scary how far apart exits are on the highway sometimes. Yeah, you're right about that. I will say, when we drove the first time, I had to learn. You got to learn where the bathrooms are, and you got to learn where the gas stations are, because you don't want to be out in the middle of nowhere and be like, not have either of those two options. You know, I need to go to the bathroom, or I need some gas, and so usually I just made it a rule of thumb that if my gas tank get even too close to the halfway point, I'm looking for a gas station, right? Because there's just no guarantees that you're going to find another one anytime soon. Actually, my parents, when they come up here next week, well, 10 days from now or so, they're going to be driving as well. So I'm going to have to give them all the tips and tricks of where the good bathrooms are. Here's where all the clean bathrooms are. When we first moved to Colorado, it was actually during COVID. And I will admit, that was a very challenging... That first trip was very challenging, because there was a lot of places that weren't open. and it was I don't know, it was a little bit more stressful, I would say, just for various reasons, but thankfully we were able to, you know, find a few places that were open enough that we were able to get the gas we needed, and like I said, go to the bathroom when we needed. All right, got the cows fed. I guess we'll leave this here because we're gonna have to drop some off here in a minute. I've been to Arizona, barely. Like we just tipped into the very edge of Arizona when we first came to Colorado, because we went to Four Corners. So we technically went to Utah, and then we drove down the side of Arizona a little bit, and then we obviously drove across New Mexico itself. So I've been to New Mexico a lot more. Barely went to New Arizona. I do want to go to the Grand Canyon someday, though. That is on my bucket list. Grand Canyon, you know, Yellowstone, Mount Rushmore, all those different places are on my bucket list to kind of check off and go someday. All right. Well, it's a really good price for a cotton harvester. I'm going to buy this just because it's a good price. We don't need it. I'm just kidding, but it is a good price for a cotton harvester. All right, well, let's go ahead and fast forward then. Let's see. Yeah. I feel like I'm forgetting something every time I fast forward. Went there for Grand Canyon, then we drove up to Zion National Park in Utah. Both are awesome. Yeah, I want to go both of those places as well. Like, I do want to go to Utah properly, because I know there's a lot of beautiful places. Oh, I forgot to unload eggs. I know there's a lot of beautiful places in Utah for sure. I will say this. It's cool because of what it is, but Four Corners is a bit lackluster. I'll be honest. It's just a slab of rock in the middle of basically nowhere, with the little sign that says this is Four Corners, and then they have shops around it where there's a bunch of the native tribes there that live around that area that are able to sell some of their crafted, you know, things like that, which are really cool. Don't get me wrong. It's cool to see all those different things, and I'm glad that they do that. But the place, oh no, not the cakes. That's all right. The place itself is a little bit kind of like, oh, okay, is that all it is? We've been here, yay. You know, we could technically say we're at Four Corners, but not the most exciting place. All right, let's get the mower. Honestly, we would probably do a lot more traveling now if we didn't have our dogs. We've got 3 fairly large dogs, and it's just not realistically feasible for us to take them with us when we go traveling. So anytime we travel, we just board them all, and boarding dogs of that size for any length of time it's not cheap. So, I mean, it becomes a cost thing for us at this point. I mean, we love our dogs. We're glad we have them, but you know, at the same time, we're like, think of how much more we could do without our dogs. Of course, by the same token, think of how much more money we would have without our kids. I guess you could say that too. I've heard dual income, no kid households make a lot of money. Oh goodness. I find it strange that the milk, straw, and slurry bars, from my eyesight, are exactly in line with one another. Like, what are the odds of that happening? Like, just randomly. I don't know. That's very, very strange. All right. You're mowing. Oh, we got to do the hay. Yeah, yeah. This is hay month. Cats, on the other hand, look, I would never have told you that I'm a cat person. I feel like I'm more of a dog person. That's how I feel. But we have both cats and dogs, and I will admit that our cats we can leave at home for a few days, you know, without any issues or worries. So when we take trips, they can stay at home because we actually have an automatic litter box. Don't ask. Yes, I have an automatic litter box for my cats, and obviously we can get an automatic feeder for them, and they're good to go. They're happy. We come back and they're like, "Oh, you went somewhere?" Actually, usually my cats look at me like, "Oh, you're back." Feels like they're more annoyed that we came back than that we left. Is TMR actually worth the effort? I've usually just fed them hay. Okay, that's a really good question, actually. I would say the part of TMR that takes the most effort is the hay, because it takes 2 cycles, right? It takes 2 steps, right? You have to ted it, and then you can bale it. You can windrow it and bale it. Whereas, obviously, the straw and the silage for the TMR, you just have to bale. You mow and you bale. I mean, the silage you have to wait a little while because, you know, whatever. But effectively, you're doing nothing during that time period. So all of those, the TMR is the additional effort, other than, I guess, putting it into the little mixer, is minimal compared to just the hay alone. But I'd have to do the math on, because obviously, I mean, it's 80% effectiveness, right? But still, 80% effectiveness would be plenty for us. We've got plenty of milk right now for our cakes. To your point, if we were just 80% effective right now, it would not be that much of a problem for us. So it's a good question of whether or not just feeding them hay is good enough. I could see an argument for saying yes, but I've always just done TMR. Partly because part of the reason why I enjoy cows is because I actually like the aspect of the TMR that means that I have to combine multiple products into one. I actually enjoy that aspect. That being said, I do prefer it when I can do the TMR in a more automated fashion than having to dump the bales in, you know, periodically. So I do like the automatic TMR mixers and things like that. But yeah, if you feed them only hay, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I mean, to be honest, if we get to the end of our straw stockpile that we have right now, and we are not quite done with this save because we haven't gotten to $1 million, then I will just feed them hay at that point, because I don't think we will, because I think we still got plenty of straw here. But if for some reason we did, I'm not going to just go plant straw crop right now. Not this late into the save. We'll just feed them hay for a cycle or two. I'm crazy and kind of enjoy moving skids around a little bit. Loading skids with fork. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I don't mind using the little bale fork on here. Like, I've gotten used to it a little bit. It's not even so much that I mind moving pallets around with a skid steer or anything like that, forklift. It's that I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and it would annoy me that after picking up the things with my forklift or whatever, I wouldn't be able to get the boxes perfectly situated on the trailer. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I use the auto load, because I want it to be perfectly organized on the trailer, and I just don't have the skill to do that with the skid loaders or the front of the forklifts. So are we going to hit? I don't think so. No, we're good. Not even close. Actually, I was watching somebody on YouTube the other day playing some farm sim, and I think they were proving the point that if you let the tractor get down to 0% durability, it doesn't really have any noticeable effect on the game. Like the main tractors. I think if you let a harvester get down too low, I think it does affect the yield. But a tractor like this, I think you can actually let it get down to 0 and it doesn't make any difference in the game whatsoever. I assumed that when it got to 0, it would just stop working. But apparently that is not the case. I've never let it get down to 0. Okay. No field found? How about there? What? There we go. Like, well, the field's right there. Open your eyes. Yeah, it's weird that the durability just really has no major impact on, like I said, the main tractors. I don't know what the efficiency loss on some of the harvests and stuff like that would be. I'd have to look at the math for that. I do know it has the chance to slow you down. And so I guess it depends on the activity that you're doing. I think if you have it at 0% and you're running something that's like right at the limit of the horsepower of the tractor, you probably will go slower. But I think if you're doing like basic stuff that well below the horsepower, I don't think it makes it that much difference, if any. Although much of this game is just policing yourself to play within whatever rules you want. That's a very good point. Yeah, you're actually very correct there. You sim the game to the realism level that you want it to be simmed to. Now, I do know from experience that if you run out of gas, your tractor no longer works. I have run out of gas before. And it is not an easy thing to fix. I think I had to go rent the... I think I had to go get the little gas trailer. Where is it? This thing. I had to go get this thing just to fill up my gas tank. I want to say it was on this map. So literally, like, within eyesight of the gas station, I ran out of gas. And I'm like, can I push it now, please? Is there a setting for turning off the damage to tractors? Oh, why is my fuel usage on high? When did that get set to high? Like, I don't really care that much. It's whatever. It doesn't cost that much, but I don't think that was completely intentional. I don't think there is anything for vehicle damage or anything like that. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, is it really high for the default for the hard start? All right, well, that's fine. I'll leave it on high then. I don't mind. I don't mind it. I just was like, it kind of like whatever. I don't really care about it either. I guess I never noticed the fuel usage thing. For combines, it affects big time. Lots of horsepower, loss of a lot of horsepower, and if there are hills in the field, you're... Yeah, no, I've seen that where if you have a little bit of a damaged harvester and you're trying to go up a hill. Yeah, I've seen that. Lose yield if the header is damaged as well. Yep. Okay, I've seen that as well. Yep. I knew both of those. I just think I just heard like the main tractor, that because the tractor itself, I guess it's similar to the fact that you can use contractor tractors for your fields, because the tractor itself is just it's a tool. It's not the actual thing that's doing stuff to the field. So I guess it being damaged is really not as big of a deal. Again, unless you're hitting that horsepower limit and you have trouble going up a hill or something like that. But if you're on like a flat field like that, I'm pretty sure having it at 0% would probably make virtually no difference whatsoever. I guess we could experiment. This one's almost damaged to 0. And I guess to your point, the harvester, if the harvester is damaged, the harvester goes slower, but it's not going to affect the yield for the harvester itself to be damaged. The yield effect comes from the header, because I guess the header is literally what's coming into contact with the crop. So I guess by the same token, the tractor, the vehicle, they're not going to dock your yield just because the vehicle's damaged. They're going to dock it based on the tool that is affecting the field itself. I don't know. It'd be nice just to see it become a little bit more realistic, I guess, at some point, some way. I don't know how they would do that, but something. I know there's mods you can get that make the damage a bit more of a factor into the game. Which is the one good thing about Farming Simulator. If there's anything, just about, I mean, there's some limits, obviously, but just about if there's anything that you feel like is missing from the base game, there's probably a mod to fix it and make it the way you want it to be. I was about to ask how, in real life, they know when the baler is full enough to drop off the bale properly. I mean, I know they've got... I'm assuming the beep still exists in real life, right? When it gets a little bit... When it gets close to full, the beep still happens. But actually, what probably happens in real life, I assume, is that they're not going literally to 100%. They don't have a 100% meter. They're just going to, you know, basically around the time that they hear the beep, and they probably just wrap the bale and drop it shortly after that, right? Like, I don't think they have a way to say, oh, I've got exactly 6,437 liters here, and I need to get a few more. It's probably more of a approximation in real life balers. I could be wrong, though. With the technology these days, who knows? Maybe they weigh it. I don't know. Alrighty. Baling's done. Let's go grab the trailer, pick all that up. I mean, there could be a sensor that detects how wide the bale is, right? That's able to determine that the bale is the right width. But even that's still, at the end of the day, just based on, you know, not every bale's going to be perfect like we have here in the game. Even that's just still kind of an approximation of sorts. Probably a pretty close approximation, but still. I think the reason I was asking about that is because when I'm driving the baler, when I stop when the bale is full, I always have to back up a few feet, like a foot or two, because I've technically filled up and then passed my mark. So I kind of have to back up a little bit. And I'm like, surely they don't do that in real life, right? Which there's no reason why they would, right? They would just get to the point where the sensor tells them that it's full. They would probably just stop there, pack the bale, unload it, and then they would continue from there, and there's no overlap or anything like that. So it was just a weird moment where I was like, huh, there's a feature in the game that I can't imagine works this way in real life, because it would be weird and silly. Older tractors have a light or a beep, then you make the judgment depending on the size of the swath, how much longer you go. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So it's like an estimation of sorts, and that makes perfect sense. And like I said, then you just stop, wrap it, unload it, and then you move on again from there. Makes sense. New tractors doesn't offer you based on the weight. Wow, that's new I mean, it feels counterintuitive, but some of the most crazy technological advances we have in our world today are on farm equipment, and people don't even know about it. There are some crazy accurate computerized farm equipment out there that it's mind-boggling that how much technology there is in farm equipment today. You gotta have a master's degree in computer science to be a farmer today. I mean, that's not true, but it feels like it would. It is. That being said, there's a reason why there's a lot of YouTubers out there that look like they're just, you know, for lack of a better way to say it, and I feel like I can get away with this because I'm getting old, but like just kids out there that are just decided one day, you know what, I'm gonna have a farm and I'm gonna drive around John Deere tractors all day. Well, because the technology makes it more accessible to some degree. Now, and I'm not saying that it's not hard. Obviously, even if you have technology that's helping you with farming, there's a lot of challenges to farming. I'm not trying to dismiss that by any stretch of the imagination, but there's a lot of YouTubers out there that are showing off their farms that don't look like they would be their normal average, you know, farmer. And it's just because they have like some fancy $500,000, $750,000 John Deere tractor that does it all for them. You know, it's cool. It's awesome. But it's just interesting to think about. Alrighty. What else? All right, cows. We fed. And then well, at least I lingered on the perfect lines on the milk straw and slurry, and I'm still curious about it. Grain. Okay, we can't do anything about that. Are we going to have enough grain? Do we harvest next month? Where's the calendar? There it is. Yeah, we harvest next month. Perfect. Okay. Let's go. Yeah, the double by size. That makes sense, Johnny. That makes a lot of sense. It's really cool. Farm equipment is awesome, in my opinion. I don't know why. But I like the combination of the technology and the mechanical. The fact that a lot of this stuff was done mechanically before the technology is already impressive. And then the fact that you can layer on technology to make it even more efficient, smarter, whatever, the GPS systems and all that kind of stuff. That layering, that combination to me just it fits both of my mental like happy places, you know? I love technology and I love how mechanical things work. I should be a farmer, guys. That's what I should do. I should just give up my my day job and go be a farmer. All right, let's get the harvesters going. You think a bank would give me a loan to become a farmer on the basis that I've got hundreds of hours of farming simulator content? I'm just saying. I mean, I know what I'm doing, guys. Just go ahead and give me a loan. Here's my proof. I mean, I've heard of a small football team in England who hired a manager because he was good at Football Manager. Like, it was a very small club, so to be fair. But I've heard of that happening. So why couldn't a farmer get a loan to become a farmer on the basis that they know how to play Farm Simulator? Why not? Let's take a load of manure before we start filling up the trailer with sorghum. I've actually heard of a race car driver. They have that movie, what, GTA? Not GTA, sorry, Gran Turismo. They have the Gran Turismo movie, which is based on the true story of a guy that got his ability to race cars because of doing well in Gran Turismo, right? I know that the movie wasn't 100% accurate to what really happened in real life, but the basis of the story of him getting that start because of it, I believe, was the accurate part. What in the world did I just hit? Okay. Driving around on a bridge and hit something random in the middle, something invisible. Maybe the army will let me sign up as a 5-star general if I convince them that I'm really good at civilization and, you know, other strategy war games. Just saying. I mean, anything could happen, right? Of course, if I got, you know, recruited as a 5-star general of the army, you know, based on my civilization experience, the first question they would ask would be like, why are your units so spread out? I'm like, well, we can only have one unit per tile, so I've got them all spread out for a reason. Be like, okay, I'm the general now. Are we playing by Civ 4 rules, or are we playing by Civ 6 rules? Because I need to know if I can stack my armies or not. Hey, Gregory, how's it going? Forgot to pivot you, my friend. All right, we'll pivot you in a minute. Yes, Army General, we have the best uniforms. Send out rock bands and we'll win by culture. Yes. Yep, that sounds accurate. I feel like Civilization 6 is like probably the most realistic game. Like there's a lot of realism in that game. We'll play EU4 rules and be like, look, if we just have 10 times the number of troops that they do, we'll instantly stack wipe them without ever losing a single soldier. That's how it works. I'm just saying. That's what I've been told. Just downloading FS19 to my new PC. I want to revisit some old maps I enjoyed from that era. Yeah. Very good stuff. Honestly, other than the lack of production facilities that you have in FS22, FS19 still holds up. It's still a solid game. Well, there you go. If you never use productions, then you aren't missing anything, for sure. All right. I bet we need to feed the cows again, I'm guessing. Yep, of course we do. And we need to transport. We need to transport some milk and slurry. So let's just leave you here. We'll come back. Let's do 1 load of straw. And then we'll do a full load of TMR. So we'll get 2 straw. We'll get 2 hay. And we'll get the 1 silage. What was the big thing they added in FS19 over FS17? I don't remember. I mean, other than graphics, of course. Like, I remember, like, I played FS17 very briefly before, well, like, when they announced FS19, or, like, I saw the announcement for it. I was like, you know what, I want to play that game. So I went and picked up FS17, played that for just a few hours here and there, leading up to FS19. Then, of course, I played FS19 a lot. I just don't remember what the big changes were there. Cotton. Okay, there you go. That was a big one. Like, I knew they added some crops and stuff. I just can't remember what else they might have added. It was like a big feature, so to speak. Oh, I was like, did I just shut it off? No. The engine noise goes away in that spot sometimes. How the cake's doing? Getting a bit low on sugar and butter, so I could probably turn the butter back on to distribute for a bit. We might as well turn the strawberries on for a bit as well. Obviously, the flour we probably are okay for a while longer. Yep. Was the map in 17? Or was it 19 that was Raven Crest? Or something like that. Maybe I'm making it up entirely. Oh, I just realized I didn't fill you all the way up with milk. Oh, well. I vaguely remember. Like I said, I played it very briefly, F17, for just a few, like maybe 20, 30 hours, something like that. Not much, really, compared to the other ones. Ravenport, that's what it was. Yeah. It was Raven something. I just couldn't remember the name. That was FS19. Okay, cool. Goldcrest, yes, yeah. I remember Goldcrest. I do remember that map because I can remember. I can kind of close my eyes and remember where the store was on that map. Even though I didn't play it much, I do remember kind of how that map was laid out. And then of course, Ravenport, whatever, was you started in the bottom right hand corner. Stores on the bottom left hand corner. You had the whole map up north of you. Didn't Ravenport have like a castle or something like that on there, or something like that up the hill? Something like, I don't remember exactly. Maybe I'm making it up. It's been a while since I played those, but I do remember them a bit. Maybe I'm thinking Felsbrunn then. I played Felsbrunn as well. I remember. Played that one in Ravenport. It's been too long. I'm assuming somebody's ported those maps over to FS22, haven't they? Surely they have at this point. Or are they not allowed to because they're Giants maps? That might be possible as well, actually. That I don't know. Okay, I figured they've come to 22. I assumed. It'd be cool to play on those again. Just to kind of see them again. Oh, nice. Cool. On the mod hub. Oh, right to. I was like, I knew there was something I was about to do. Gotta go empty out my other harvester. Alright, this tractor being damaged, I'm seeing a noticeable impact on his ability to pull the trailer. But I would expect that. I would expect a little bit of damage to slow down his acceleration a little bit here. Although he's able to drive, once he gets up to speed, he's cruising. I'll get you jumped out before this thing gets too heavy for this little tractor to pull. Lone Oak. I think I played that map too, yeah. The name sounds familiar. If I didn't play it, I tried it out like for a few minutes and like looked at it and saw it. And it was, I vaguely remember that being a cool map. There was another map I really enjoyed. I don't remember the name of it though. I might have to look it up here in a minute. It was a mod map though. It wasn't like a base game map. Let me see what I have. Woodshire on FS19. I did a series on that one. I enjoyed that map a lot as well. I thought that was a cool map. It was in both 17 and 19, originally made by Bullet Bill in 17, then brought to 19 by Oxygen David. What map is this? Oh, what map is this that I'm playing on right now? This one right here is the Elm Creek map. Unless you're asking about the map he's talking about. Oh. You've been around the community since 17? Nice. Yeah, I started in the, I mean, not the community, but I started doing YouTube videos for 19. I didn't do any 17 videos. I haven't really been, like, in the community, so to speak, but I'll be honest, I don't tend to be a part of. There's a lot of communities I don't tend to be a part of. I just, stay on the fringes. I don't know. I don't know. I should get more involved in some of the communities, though. There's some good communities out there. I downloaded FarmSim22 and uninstalled it like 4 days ago, and now I'm installing it again. Well, I mean, it's an addicting game. I'll give you that, and it's a lot of fun to play. Yeah, Woodshire, like it. There was a few spots in the Woodshire that were a little bit weird, but I think for the most part, I like the layout of that one a lot. That was one of the maps that I did with a friend of mine in multiplayer, and we spent hundreds of hours on that map. It was crazy. All right, so we got some slurry to pick up. Yeah, we got quite a bit of slurry to pick up. Cows are fed, though. Chickens are going to be fed here in a moment. Obviously, we're getting the harvesting done. Yeah, we're doing all right. So we'll have a good place to start next time because this is 10 o'clock for 10 o'clock for me. So it is the end of the stream. If you did just join, I do appreciate it. I stream from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock Mountain Time because I live in Colorado. So if you did miss some of it, everything is up on the VODs on YouTube, so you can always watch the replay right away. My next live stream will be Saturday. We'll be playing some more. Who is it? Who we're playing as? Ludwig II, building lots and lots of wonders in Civ 6. So we'll be playing some Civ 6 on Saturday, and then Monday will be some more Football Manager, and we'll be back with Farming Simulator content next Wednesday. Again, next Wednesday will be my last stream for a week, basically. I'm going to take a week off after that, but I will be here next Wednesday to stream some Farming Simulator content, which I believe is July 3rd. Yes? I believe that is correct. So obviously I'm not going to be ignoring my 4th of July holiday or anything like that. I do have a Discord. If you are, for the moment, my Discord is reserved for channel members. I just kind of set it up that way just to make sure that I didn't just get overloaded with a bunch of random people. I might open it up to more people at some point. I just kind of wanted to set it up, kind of gauge kind of the interest initially, and then once I kind of got a handle on things, I was going to maybe open it up to free people. But if you just pay for the $2 membership, you get it. I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you have to. You can either do that or be patient, and I might make it free at some point because, whatever at this point. But yeah, I do appreciate everybody coming out. And like I said, we'll finish up some more of this run next time. And we're so close. We're just trying to get to $1 million. Once we get to $1 million, we will be shifting over and starting a run where I attempt to try to do the lumber aspect of Farming Simulator 22. We'll find out how successful that ends up being, or if it's just a complete circus and comedy fest. It'll be still fun. But I do appreciate you guys watching. May God bless you, and I hope you join me again next time.